Hi, this is Cindy Hallett, the Entity Doctor with Stand in the Light. Today, I'd like to teach you to properly use a pendulum to gain answers from your guides and angels and figure out what is going on with your life. At ComeStandInTheLight.com, we sell many types of pendulums, and there's as many types of pendulums as there are people. So you will find the one for you. Now, different types of pendulums that I use. This is a clear quartz angel. Isn't she pretty? And she has a clear quartz point to give her a little more energy. This one's called a Merkaba. This is the Ferrari of pendulums. Be careful using this one unless you have a lot of experience with pendulums. This one doesn't ride in your pocket very well. The stone tends to fall out. So be careful with this one. This is a table pendulum and for the more advanced user. When you're starting out, generally you'll find a lovely faceted pendulum, and we have some wonderful crystal pendulums at ComeStandInTheLight.com. So this one rides really well in your pocket. It's very simple to use. There's not a lot of moving parts. When people first come to my table and say they'd like to learn to use a pendulum, I say, find the pendulum that works for you and hold it in your hand for a moment, because that gets the energy on it. When you first get to know a roommate or a new friend, you kind of want to get their energy and understand how they work. So that's what you're doing by holding the pendulum in your hand. Okay? Now, when you first start out using a pendulum, you want to hold your hand about 4 inches below. That helps to give the pendulum your energy and helps it to tune in to you. Okay? Now, some people hold it way too close and the pendulum gets claustrophobic. So try to give it about at least 4 inches. When you get good at it, you don't have to do that anymore. Okay. The next step is the most important step. Never forget this step, okay? You need to call in who you want to talk to. If you just start asking questions into thin air, you're going to get lower energies. Have you ever heard of a Ouija board? Scary stuff, huh? Yeah, let's not mess with those. Let's know who we're talking to. That's the most important part. People come to my table all the time and they say, my pendulum's not working. It's lying to me. And I say, who are you talking to? And they say, the rock. And I say, doesn't that sound a little strange to you? The rock don't know. It's a rock. Okay? So you are talking to your guides and your angels. You're not talking to a rock. All right? Or you can call in. Once you get good at it, you can call in deceased loved ones that you want to talk to or other beings, angels, ascended masters, like that. And even councils. I work with a lot of councils. So you hold your pendulum so it's comfortable. Some people hold it this way. Some people hold it this way. Some people hold it this way. The only thing I ask you not to do is to choke up on it. Please allow the full chain to swing freely, okay? So, now that you've got your pendulum and you're going to hold your hand 4 inches below, and you call in your guides and angels, you say, hey, guides and angels, show me yes. You go ahead and say that now, right now. Show me yes. And note which way your pendulum begins to swing. Let's take a minute to do that. Now, if you have your yes, you can ask your guides and angels, please show me no. And note which way your pendulum swings. It'll either be up and down, back and forth, clockwise or counterclockwise. Did you get your yes and your no? If you didn't, keep practicing on that. And sometimes you'll have to say, show me bigger. If the pendulum just moves a teeny weeny little bit, you're not sure which way it's going to go, you can say, please show me bigger. Okay? And then you can ask qualifying questions. Sometimes one of the answers can be a stop and a shake. I'm not real fond of that answer because I'm not sure whether my guides and angels aren't understanding me or they're just not answering me or what. So you can program the way your pendulum moves. For example, if you want to say, guides and angels, when you want to tell me no, go back and forth, like I'm shaking my head. Okay? So you can program the way the pendulum moves. Again, I'm not a big fan of pendulum charts. They kind of border on the lower energies. I want to make sure I'm calling in my guides and angels. And the more you work with your pendulum, the more you'll know the energy of your guides and angels, and you'll know whether you're connected with them or not, okay? Or if somebody's trying to sneak in and give you a wrong answer. And sometimes we misunderstand the answer, which is fine. Now, once you know your yes and your no, you can ask qualifying questions. For instance, am I wearing a red dress? Am I wearing a green dress? Do I drive a blue car? Do I drive a gold car? Is my husband's name this or is my wife's name that? Is my cat's name whoever? And you can find yeses and nos. And that helps you get to know the pendulum, get to know the answers, get to know how the energy moves. Now, when you get an answer to a question that surprises you, you know you've connected. You know you're with your guides and your angels and you're not making this up. If you have a question that you're really emotionally invested in, is he going to call me? Is he going to call me? You're going to make the pendulum move the way you want it to move. Okay? So the best thing to do in that case is A, either use cards, or B, go to your pendulum buddy and say, hey buddy, grab your rock. I got a question. Is he going to call me? They don't have an emotional response to this, so their answer will be more true. And they can talk to your guides and angels. That's okay. All right? Now, how you form the question is most important. You have to be specific, but not too specific. Okay? For example, if I ask my guides and angels, will I find a job? For me, this is a yes. Counterclockwise is, for me, is a yes. Maybe not be for you. Okay, well, I've had lots of jobs, right? I'm old. I've had several jobs. Okay, guides and angels. Will I find another job at this time? This is my no. Back and forth for me is a no. Okay, so you need to be fairly specific. If I'm trying to figure something out, I'll start broad. For example, if I want to know how many entities are attached to a person, I'll say, is there more than 50? Is there more than 100? More than 120, 110, 105, 104? 104. Okay. Now again, I've been using my pendulum a long time, so I'm pretty good at knowing when it stops swinging or when it changes directions. People ask, do you have to stop it in between questions? And the answer is, that's up to you. If you're more comfortable stopping it and changing directions, go ahead and do that when you're first starting out. When you get good at it, you don't have to do it anymore. It'll automatically change directions when you change questions. So, key phrases to use is at this time. Will I find another job at this time? Okay, not will I find a job. That's this lifetime, last lifetime, 20 years ago, 10 years from now. What is it? Spirit answering you? You're not quite sure. So you want to make sure what question you're asking. Just like with your roommate or spouse or children, you want to be specific so that you know the answer you're getting represents, they're answering the right question. Okay, they're answering the question that you're asking. So I had a gentleman at my table one time and he asked a very, very general question and I said, no, that's not going to work. You have to phrase it more specifically. And he said, well, that's what I meant. And I said, it really doesn't matter what you meant. It matters what you asked. Okay? So, again, you have to be fairly specific. Just practice with your pendulum. Get to know your guides and angels. Get to know your yeses and your nos. Now, once you do know your yeses and your nos, just like calling me on any different telephone, you'll still get me. You'll still get your guides and your angels. It doesn't matter which pendulum you're using. Your yes and your no will not be changing. Okay, it'll be the same as you found out just now. So, I invite you to come standinthelight.com, click on Crystal Shop, click on Pendulum, and pick out your favorite pendulum that works for you. And Spirit and I would be honored to select it for you. Thank you so much. I'm Cindy Howlett, the Entity Doctor.